Well, good morning, everyone. Okay. Well, it's great to be here with all of you today. And it's also, recognizing, as I was walking in, I saw a couple of friends of mine. So it's good to see that everybody recognizes that our power sector is at an inflection point. I'm sure that over the course of this conference, you will hear or you have heard, many different perspectives about which technologies and business models will ultimately prevail. But one thing I will tell you that is certain. Power will be the fuel of our future, and consumers will be at the center of this change. I love the theme of your conference. Love your energy. How many of you love the energy that powers your lives? Okay, that's fine. Okay, we're all biased here. Okay, we're power people. Of course we love our energy. But seriously, when you think about the average American, they don't have a relationship with electricity. They flip the switch and they pay the bill. That's it. It's somewhat invisible. But that's changing. Technology now allows me to control energy from just about anywhere. I can choose where it's coming from, when to use it, and even automate my home so it can learn my usage and habits. Again, I recognize that the notion of engaging with electricity is not commonplace today. But that's changing, and it's changing pretty fast. I believe more than ever, this collective we, consumers of electricity, have an opportunity to decide what kind of electric future we want and we deserve. Like I said, consumers are at the center of this transformation. For us at NRG, they're shaping the products and services that we offer, the investments that we make, and how we think about our business. I see this consumer-led disruption as a tremendous opportunity to redefine what electricity can be. So in that spirit, I want to talk to you about a few points. The trends that are affecting our industry, how consumers are demonstrating a readiness for change, and the transformative potential of competition and customer choice across the power industry. So let me begin with my first point of the day. Let's call it the big trends. I'm sure we can all agree that electricity is fundamental to running our modern and digital economy. And its importance is just increasing. Today, electricity accounts for about 20% of all the energy consumed in the United States. But by 2050, that's going to be 50%. And I actually think that number is conservative. So this increasing reliance on electricity means an increasing relevance for both users and providers. We have the opportunity to reshape how electricity is produced, delivered, and experienced by individuals and businesses. The fact that most people have probably thought of electricity as a commodity with little to no differentiation is not entirely unfair. Given how the power industry has operated for the past 100 years. But like other industries, such as telecom, transportation, and even retail shopping, technology and innovation are disrupting this customer experience. In the power sector, we're starting to see evidence of this today. For example, mobile phones can now be personal energy command centers. Voice-activated speakers can be personal energy assistants with commands like, turn off my lights or turn off my thermostat. And energy usage data is being transformed into actionable insights and information for consumers. Just think about it for a moment. Our personal interactions with energy have evolved drastically and is now becoming personal. Electricity is no longer an overlooked commodity. Instead, it is something we're now actually thinking about, actively managing it, and relating it like never before. The digital energy experience is at the heart of many energy innovations. Consumers now want real-time energy information in their homes and businesses and the ability to take action if needed. Digitization is making this possible. It is truly revolutionizing our sector. From connected and smart devices to big data, the Internet of Things is enabling the Internet of Electricity. Imagine a day when trucks and buses are all electrified and become large sources of power supply and demand. Electrons and data flowing in a multi-directional grid. I mean, this is truly a new paradigm for the power industry. The second big trend is the increasing level of choice and personal experience that consumers are expecting with nearly everything they buy. If not, ask your kids about how they consume TV today. They're becoming used to getting services delivered the way they want, where they want, and from whom they want. In the power industry, this level of customization, it's only starting to emerge. Consumers are demanding plans and solutions that suit their lifestyle and values. For example, the electric needs of a family are very different from someone, an executive, that is never home and it's only there during the weekends. So the question is, why should they buy electricity the same way? In the past, all we expected from power providers was the safe, reliable, and affordable power. Today, that's table stakes. That's already expected. Consumers want more. They want power that is cleaner, customizable, and connected. So that brings me to the third trend, the demand for cleaner power and the need to decarbonize our economy. People are no longer waiting for regulatory or government action. Businesses and individuals are taking matters into their own hands and pushing for change. There's no better illustration of demand for cleaner power than the RE100. This is a group of major corporations across the globe that have committed to sourcing 100% of their electricity from renewable energy. So as you can see, we're clearly in unprecedented times in the power industry today. And the regulatory decisions that we make today will determine how fast consumers will benefit from this growing number of technologies and energy choices. The Internet of Things, smart home appliances, and distributed generation are coming no matter what. Just like with clean power, consumers are not going to ignore these new technologies just because the regulatory framework doesn't support them or fit their needs. So that brings me to the second point I want to make. I believe competition is the vehicle that will accelerate this transformation. Think about it. In every aspect of our economy, and almost in every product that we consume, we benefit from competition. We know that when companies compete to earn our business, we, consumers, win. Why does the power industry have to be different? In a fully competitive market, power providers are required to offer additional value to the customer beyond just delivering the commodity. Unfortunately, only 1/3 of our country can enjoy the full benefits of retail choice. By embracing competition, we will see an acceleration in innovation of products, services, and solutions. Many industries started as regulated industries. But through competitive forces, they have all evolved and created enormous value for us, the consumer. This new regulatory framework must unleash the creativity, innovation, and the entrepreneurial spirit to deliver value to consumers. That's our promise. At the same time, it has to better align the role of utilities and competitive companies so they can do what they do best. So the way I see it, there are only two paths that we can follow. The first one is what happened to personal transportation with Uber and Lyft. That path was largely reactive. These businesses were enabled by new technologies and innovative thinking. They address specific consumer needs that the old service was not providing. So after these technologies emerged, with a better product, consumers demanded it. And regulators found themselves playing regulatory catch-up, creating significant friction between consumers and providers. I think the other path is a little more proactive. Regulators, innovators, utilities, and competitive power providers should work together as technologies are emerging so that we can figure out the new competitive framework. That way, as consumers become increasingly sophisticated when it comes to their energy choices, the rules will already be in place, allowing us for a smoother transition to that future. As I say, this new competitive framework will focus each market participant in its core strengths. Regulated utilities should focus on building the best, most reliable transmission and delivery system. And retail providers should devote their resources to develop the new energy technologies that consumers are increasingly demanding. And this is no fiction. We actually know this model works right here in Texas. This new paradigm keeps each participant focused on where he can create the most value. We need both the ability to meet customer demands better, faster, and cheaper, and a modernized delivery network that can integrate all these new technologies while becoming even more resilient. So as part of this new framework, retail power providers must have the ability to establish and build a direct relationship with their own customers. instead of having to go through the local utility. By the way, in many places in the Northeast, in the billing statement of our customers, we're less than one tweet. That's the space that we have on the utility bill, less than one tweet. Consumers demand simplicity and convenience. They want a single energy bill that includes not only the energy needed to keep their lights on, but also the products and services that deliver value to them. You know, like home security, energy efficiency devices, and other things. So let me ask you this. When you buy something online, do you pay FedEx or the Postal Service for the goods and services that you bought and that are delivered to your home? Do you? I don't. The delivery company delivers. But it doesn't mean that it has to be the middleman for everything that you order. There is no reason that energy delivery should be any different. So by implementing this competitive framework that encourages innovation and puts customers in control of their energy experience, we will not only expedite the modernization of our sector, but enhance and expand the offering that companies can provide to their customers. I mean, customers shouldn't look elsewhere. We just need to unleash the forces of competition, just like we have done just about everywhere in our economy. So, the third point that I want to leave you with is that this energy future that we're talking about is actually here. I mean, I'm serious. It's here in Texas, right here in the state of Texas. It's called the ERCOT market. And it's showing us the benefits of competition. For consumers, a competitive retail energy market has meant an access to a wide range of options that support the connected digital experience. Whether it's a family seeking a simple, low-cost, no-frills option, or all the bells and whistles that basically bring technologies and features to their smart home places. In Texas, there is a plan or product to meet everybody's needs. But this level of personal choice didn't just happen. It was the result of the right regulatory framework and competitive dynamics, forcing companies to be innovative, cost-efficient, and customer-focused. So let me provide you some examples. Today in ERCOT, there are over 100 retail providers. Actually, it's about 115. That's 115 companies trying to earn your business with better, more innovative products every day. You can choose 100% renewable energy, 100% grid power, free nights for those gamers, free weekends for the guy that is not spending the weekend in his house, 12-month fixed price, variable price. How about earning miles when you pay your bills? Or donating to your favorite charity? Or even get paid if you don't use electricity during peak conditions. And on top of all of this, ERCOT has one of the lowest electric prices in the country. That's the power of competition. Competition has also brought reliable and increasingly clean energy supply to the ERCOT market. Since deregulation, there has been over 60 gigawatts of new generation. That is 60% of the total installed capacity in the market. And from that total capacity, about 30% is coming from renewable energy, like wind, solar, or batteries. The competitive market has ensured that the right resources were built in the right places. This was not only done economically, but also improved the reliability and the resilience of the system. So, just to put a finer point on these examples, last summer, during the peak load day, only 2% of the total generating capacity was out. 2%. 98% reliability when we consumers needed it the most. That's about half of what the market or the system operator was expecting. Just think about times of extreme conditions, like the terrible disaster that happened during Hurricane Harvey. The ERCOT market showed resilience. I mean, just to put it in context, Harvey was the largest storm ever to hit the continental United States. And at the peak of this major disaster, major storm, 4% of customers were without power for a very short period of time. That's the result of the utility, the transmission and distribution utility, investing in the delivery system to make it more resilient. So for some of us, the era of consumer engagement in power is already here. For other folks in our country, that future will require to reimagine and reworking the regulatory framework that is stifling competition and innovation. Electricity is full of potential. From powering our technologies to supporting the decarbonization of our economy. But the power sector must keep up with the needs of modern society. I believe a transformation is well underway in our sector. And we all must wholly embrace it. All consumers should have the opportunity to love their power. Because when they have access to the solutions that fit their lives, they can also achieve their full potential. I believe more than ever, the power to shape the electric future that we want is in our hands. But not as energy companies, but as consumers of electricity. So thank you for allowing me to share a few thoughts. And I hope that you have a very productive rest of the conference. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mauricio.